Do you know about those two Marin kids? Oh God, I'm trying to remember their name.
How old?
They're a lot older than us. There
A
are these
lot?
Well, there are these two white guys who are like the like crack kings of Marin.
The crack kings of Marin.
There's a documentary about them. There's a mini.
Yikes.
Yeah. But I was wondering if you overlooked. Did we talk about Max Wade? Sorry to get way.
Why did that sound familiar?
Because he's the guy who sold a bunch of fake IDs and then
lived in the
stole
city?
Guy Fieri's Lamborghini.
Oh.
Do you remember this?
Where did he live?
He went to Redwood, I believe.
Oh, we didn't associate with the public school kids.
Fair enough, yeah. Marin Academy and Redwood,
Yeah.
I guess slightly different vibe. But
Yeah.
he cat burglar style stole Guy Fieri's Lamborghini.
Why was Guy
That's cool.
Fieri
Yeah, pretty sick.
living in the Bay Area?
Guy Fieri's a Bay Area guy. Yeah.
Like a native?
I don't know if he's a native, but he like lives in the Bay Area. He loves,
No. Weird.
Yeah, he loves
Like the little Italian guy with the bleached hair?
like diners, drivers. Yeah, he's always at Warriors games. He's like apparently he's an extremely nice guy as far as.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, it is so this Lamborghini situation, like he stole. It's actually it's a whole tragic thing. He stole Guy Fieri's Lamborghini, and then how he got caught was he had a crush on a girl, and the girl he had a crush on had a boyfriend, and his way of handling this was not, I wouldn't recommend this way, but was to drive up to them in a motorcycle and shoot at them.
I feel like this is all podcast fodder.
Well, we can just use, we can roll on, we were rolling, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
So-
could be the cold open.
Okay, but wait. Because he stole a car?
You don't know about Max Wade.
I was really in my own world.
I guess so.
As
yeah.
we established last time, I didn't even know about Katrina until 3 weeks after
Because
it
she
happened.
was quote online or
didn't
no
know-
offline. Sorry, unquote.
I mean, that seems crazy.
You didn't feel like I guess
I was
You didn't feel the
so
vibrational
yeah,
touch.
like, psychically.
all the death around that time. You didn't sort of absorb it energetically.
no.
That's how
I was
found
in
out.
I was in an ulterior dimension at that.
You were in an ulterior.
Ulterior.
I don't think ulterior.
Ulterior.
I was in a different world back then.
Yeah.
Did you ever come back?
I think I knew about Hurricane Katrina basically immediately.
Yeah, as did most of the
I was
nation.
on the road. That's what I was trying to explain to you.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. Remember that?
Yes, that was
Right.
amazing.
Yeah. Big
But I only
Kanye.
read about it like 10
In a
10
history
years
book.
later.
Wait, I don't actually remember this. I mean, I can guess from contextual clues.
Yeah, he like really took a stand. I mean, it's the only time I've liked him. I don't like his music.
You're like Kanye
I
West.
literally.
Wait, that's something Kanye West said about George Bush.
Yeah, after Katrina.
There's an infomercial, I think on MTV, with Mike Myers and Kanye West. And they kicked up Mike Myers and Kanye West. The idea being like, hey, donate to Katrina. And Kanye goes off script and just says, George Bush doesn't care about black people. And then they like cut off.
And they kept it in the infomercial.
Yeah, I think it must have been like right around the time where, I think it was live. Maybe it was like a live
That's cool.
MTV event. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Live is so much better.
Yeah.
Always.
You don't like Kanye's music though?
I've literally had so many dudes and non-binaries try to convince me about how amazing Kanye is. And I literally don't care. When he started dating Kim Kardashian, I was like, oh, he doesn't have any taste. Do you know what I mean? And so like he'd always been very peripheral in my mind, but that was confirmation. I was like, oh, he's just trashy.
Right.
I mean, Kanye West has some good music, but you're just on, what do you like? What kind of jazz music do you like?
I was just teasing you. Acid jazz. I was just fucking with you when I said that. But yeah, I mean, I have obscure tastes, I guess. I'm a snob.
But a lot of snobs do. I mean, that was.
I know.
you know, Big Ten,
I'm
lot
a
of
snob
snobs.
and I'm an outlier.
Yeah. My read on the Kanye Kim thing was, and I actually I do kind of feel like this extrapolates out to his bizarre anti-Semitic collapse. Is like he was a celebrity who, at the height of his powers, knew how him being a celebrity affected his music, and that was what was cool about it. Like he was like, I am Kanye the celebrity, and that my music is in relation to the fact that celebrity is this thing that American culture is obsessed with or whatever. And there's this interview with him, the Zane Lowe interview, where he's talking. It's very funny. There's all kinds of incredible quotes from Kanye. He's got a great allow me this digression. He's got a great quote where he's like, I love Lady Gaga, because Lady Gaga was just the announced the CEO or maybe the creative director of Canon cameras, and she was like, I love Lady Gaga, she's got some great songs, what the fuck does she know about cameras? And there's all these mimetic moments, but in that he was like, Kim is the only person as famous as me, so that there's not a power dynamic, and that's why I'm married to her.
Whoa.
And from that perspective, I'm not sure that's a good reason to marry somebody, but
look,
it is at least coherent.
I mean, I feel like as the materialist taught me, you know what I mean, or reinforced, marriage is a business contract. First and foremost.
It's all about the math.
It's all about the math, you know? So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We're kidding.
Well,
sort of. But not.
Did you see The Materialist?
I haven't, but I do know that people are like torn on if it's good or bad.
It's garbage.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's harsh. It's not garbage. It betrays itself.
It's not the best. I don't know anyone who was like truly moved by it.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like because Celine Song's previous movie was like a serious drama.
And she's an incredible playwright. Right. So, yeah, I don't know if she was just capitulating to the man. I mean, I think it's interesting that she became like rose to fame with Past Lives, which is like focused on it's like a Korean woman, right? And then she like makes her next movie just like all white folks, you know? And I was like, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know,
it was an implausible plot.
Okay. It was insane
that Dakota Johnson would reject a very wealthy Pedro Pascal for a very broke Chris Evans, who
is so dopey.
Horrible anger management problems. 2 roommates.
Weird plug job. You know what I mean? Strange face work.
Yeah, his shit's busted.
Refused to get a job.
Like a terrible actor whose career is never going to launch. Like the whole movie builds this really strong premise of like, it's about the math. And you're sort of like, by the end, you're like, oh God, it's sort of about the math. And then they're like, it's not. It's about love.
Got it, yeah.
And you're like, what?
But yeah, I don't even know, who could Kanye West have married that would have been like a classy choice in your eyes? I think all celebrity is pretty tacky at this point.
Yeah. I mean, everybody who went to like, I was like looking at everybody at the Bezos wedding and I was just like, these people have no taste.
Well, you have old money taste.
I have old money taste for sure. Being from San Francisco, where like there is old money, there are old families, there are names, there are the cotillion, which you, and I just want to be clear, I was not participating in any of these circles because I'm just like a second generation Pollock, you know what I mean? But anyway, it's like those aesthetics. Yeah, but everybody looks so tacky. It's like Sydney Sweeney's stylist did the whole wedding. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
It was awful.
Totally.
It's like, is there some phrase about like youth is wasted on the young and like money is wasted on the tasteless, or something like that?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Should we introduce our guest?
Oh, yeah, totally.
We have a very special guest today. Harry Krinsky, podcast producer, writer, host of the sports podcast Nothing But Respect. Am I missing anything?
No, that's everything.
San Francisco native.
Most
importantly.
And pretty good athlete. Pretty good at high school basketball.
You could have. Oh, what did you play? What position?
I play point guard.
Okay.
Despite being 6'3".
Yeah.
And can I say, are you single?
I'm single.
All right. So submit inquiries to criticalbabetheory@gmail.com and we will forward them to Harry if they're appropriate. So tell us about your basketball career. Why did it not work out?
Oh, that's actually that we're eventually going to talk about this J. Caspian King article about like, you know, youth sports ends and all that stuff. And the crux of that article, or like why it can be so tragic, why youth sports can be so tragic, is a lot of kids hold on to the dream that they are going to be millionaires and make tons of money in the NBA and kind of live off that dream for a really long time. That did not happen to me. My dream was crushed. I remember I was actually a very like, I might even say prodigious Jewish basketball player. When I was like 11, I think when I was, God, I think in 7th grade I had like 30 points against French American.
Wow.
Yeah, which is
They sound like a tall school.
No, believe it or not,
Oh, okay.
they were horrible.
Okay.
Wait, is French American the name of the school?
It's like a
It's like the kind of like bougie but
Lycée.
druggy sort of.
You're also from the Bay Area.
I grew up in the city in San
We-
Francisco. Yes.
We're within a couple miles of each other.
Ships in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but after that, I tried out for this AAU team, which is like a travel basketball team. And it's funny, like when I was, 12, the AAU circuit was just in its nascent stage of being like completely industrialized and optimized and like turned into big business, but it was still pretty quaint at the time, relatively. And I tried out to be on the San Francisco Rebels, which was a really
Cool
good, very cool name, very good kind of storied AAU team in the city. And I ended up making it a few rounds. I didn't end up making the team, but I do think my dream died at that first tryout, where I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at basketball, but I'm not as good as these kids. Like, they are just on a different level of ability.
Can you comment? I can't tell you. I really am not trying to be mean. I can't tell you the number of men who've been like, I was like a really good pitcher. I could have.
Could have gone to.
I could have gone all the way. You know what I mean? Like, I just like this idea of like I could have been a contender, which like statistically speaking, I don't like. It seems like in the sample group of people I've dated, statistically, it would be unlikely if all of them could have been a contender for pro sports, just looking at how the numbers work. So I am not in any way taking away from because it's specifically pitching for some reason.
Do you like guys with big rotator cuffs?
She has the type.
It's like giant right here.
Did you see that guy who's only working out one trap?
I have seen something like
That's
that.
so
I don't like that
stupid.
kind of thing, but I have seen it.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
really bad for your body.
Yeah.
But I was just like, is there something? Because girls, I feel like, is the equivalent to being a pitcher in Major League Baseball? Is it the same as like being a princess? Because most girls, the princess dream dies pretty young. My point is like it persists in men. The pitcher dream persists far more because it's sort of like in an alternate reality. Because what they're telling me, what they've told me is like in an alternate reality, I would be a pitcher. Not like I could have been, but I wasn't good enough. But like there's a world not too different from this one where I am a pitcher. And can you see me? You know what I mean?
I think the comp would maybe be not princess, but like runway model. That because there's what's nice about sports, I guess, is that it is sort of ostensibly a meritocracy. Like if you just work hard enough and just commit to your craft long enough, you could be a baseball player. In that way, the model thing falls apart because I guess models are.
I was voted most likely to be on Broadway in 8th grade. So
But look at Sarah now.
and now I have a podcast.
Podcasting is the new Broadway, yeah.
No, but my husband has the same thing with volleyball, which is he took very seriously in his youth.
He's Canadian. I just want to add that. So it's like
Apparently,
less
it's-
gay there.
Is that true? Or it's like it's like thought of as different?
He has multiple friends that he played with growing up through high school that made it to the Olympic team.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, so I mean, it is like a thing there. But he really, like, I feel like he very much has that alternate reality. Maybe it would have required, I think, like 1 or 2 inches, which I think he's told me he was supposed to grow and he didn't, you know?
Yeah. That didn't happen for me.
How old were you when your dream died?
I was in 6th grade when this Rebels thing happened. Yeah.
Did you continue to play after that?
Yeah. I just mean my childhood dream of being like, I'm gonna be in the NBA.
That sounds really healthy to me, though, for it to die when you were 12.
Totally. Yeah. So it's you know, there's a less hyperbolic way of. I just sort of like shifted into thinking about basketball as like a hobby and not, you know, something that, whatever.
You were asking last week or a few weeks ago, like, why live? And I think for
Literally,
many men.
Yeah.
LIV, the Saudi Arabian golf thing.
No.
What? No. I mean, please. No.
Why
we
live?
can't.
Yeah.
Why live?
Like Tolstoy asked, like, why live? It's funny because I was thinking about it earlier today because I was like, why smoke? Like, just to give you guys a sense of what I thought the word was desultory, but that's literally means something totally different. But I'm just going to use it because it sounds so right.
Yeah, don't look
like,
it up.
I was so exhausted. I like couldn't even bring myself to partake in nicotine, which is the greatest love of my life.
Yeah. Guys, send help. Francesca's not doing well.
But wait, I was thinking about something, which is you're so much healthier than because I was a dancer and I was like dancing professionally. I was getting paid, so I was somewhat professional, but I was also like working towards, because I went to Cal for a year and was doing dance there, but I was also in performances. And I had all these injuries, so I quit when I was 19, but much more unreasonably than you, I never danced again. I just kind of cut, but I've done that with a lot of stuff. But I think that cutting your losses is a great skill. You know?
Yes, I do think ideally this is the problem with the or maybe not the consequence, I guess, of like professionalizing this type of thing, because it's like it becomes a job and it becomes a weight on you. That makes sense that if you're like 19 and like you're like, my whole life is oriented around dance, but then the joy that got you into it when you were 7 or whatever caves in.
No, I just saw the cold hard reality. I remember my teacher, Carol Marotta, she told me this months after I deep into training. I had tendonitis in 11 of my joints, and she said to me, she's like, if you walked into an audition for my company, I would take one look at your knees, and no matter how good you were, I would never cast you.
Damn.
You know? And I just like...
Your knees fucking suck.
Yeah. It's just like it wasn't meant to be. I'm a liability. You know what I mean?
But but I think that like unlike something like dance, which you can participate in as an observer still, but it requires you like leaving your house and like seeking out performances. It's something that you can only really do in like major cities like New York. Like sports, like you can continue to have like a deep like almost spiritual, I would say, relationship with.
Sure.
And like you can keep that dream alive, you know? I mean, I'm like, I grew up in a household where men would cry about sports.
Hell yeah.
I cry about sports.
But cry tears of sadness?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've almost gotten into fights.
What are your teams?
The 49ers
is
my team. I also have a soft spot for the Bills because I lived upstate for a while. And actually, this is a funny story. So my ex and I, we'd heard there was a Jewish quarterback in the NFL. And we were like Josh Allen. We were like, oh, that sounds like him. So we were watching him and we're like, you know, we've never seen a Jew who's 6'3" and comes from Chino before. And we realized that he was not indeed the only Jewish quarterback.
Rosen?
Yes, that's correct. But anyway, we fell in love. Yeah.
That's a Jewish looking guy.
Yeah.
Take one look at Josh Rosen, you're like, I think that's our guy. I think that is the guy.
So nonetheless, through this like mistaken identity, we came to love the Bills as well. Yeah.
The Bills are they're a tragic team as well.
Do you think that it's not possible this year for them?
I don't know enough about the nuts and bolts of like, they're good every year because Josh Allen is really good, but do you know about the Bills have this?
I know nothing.
Okay, they have this incredible Sisyphusian story of reaching the championship game like 4 years in a row and losing every single time.
You might know Vincent Gallo made a movie about it called Buffalo 66
Buffalo 66
with Christina Ricci. You probably have. Do you like him? He's
Where
a
she's
sicko.
a dancer. Like she's
She's
a
got
young
like the
dancer.
yeah. She's got like the blue eyeshadow on.
That was about the Buffalo Bills.
I haven't seen
She
it.
had. Oh, I mean, he's so weird. Is she a dancer? He kind of like kidnaps her, and then he wants to kill the guy who dropped the ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, it's a football. It's about the desperation of a fan.
Hell yeah.
What are your teams?
I like the Niners for football, and I love the Golden State Warriors, and that's pretty much it as far as the fans like teams I like. Teams that could conceivably make me cry would be the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Warriors are basketball.
Yeah.
What about baseball?
Baseball, I was
The summer game.
It's a summer game, but I was also really bad at baseball as a kid.
Oh.
I remember actually. Wow, I got a good. Oh, okay, I got a good critical babe theory.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tendrils here. I will keep one of the people in this pseudonymous so he can continue to live his life. But you guys are really not gonna expect where this is going.
All right, hit us.
When I was in middle school, I was playing baseball, and I remember there was this really traumatic baseball experience I had where I got beamed by a pitch, which happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I just to me, it hurt and scared me. And the pitcher, this guy named Jonathan, I'm not gonna say his last name, threw the ball and beat me like in the shoulder or something, and it was really sad and scary to me at the time. And I pretty much like not right after, but like that in my mind is what led to me quitting baseball. 15 years later, this same Jonathan was arrested for going into RFK Jr.'s house, sending him 400 emails, going into his house, getting kicked out by his private security. The later that day, returning to his house again, spotted by Cheryl Hines, RFK Jr.'s wife, because he was like trying to talk about his vaccine policy or something. Like he became obsessed. Obviously, there was something maybe wrong with him, but he was like stalking and maybe trying to kill or just trying to change the mind of RFK Jr.
He was pro-vax or anti-vax?
I think, RFK got anti, but
Yeah,
I think,
but no,
I
you're this
think
guy,
Jonathan
Jonathan.
was like, your anti-vax stance is dangerous. And
And was that the subject of the emails, or were the
Yes.
emails about other stuff?
I think probably other stuff, 400 emails, you gotta, whatever.
Militant pro-vax. Love it.
Yeah.
Did he get arrested?
There's some, loose reporting on it. I believe he had to like sign a, like he can't ever buy a gun, which is like, okay.
Yeah, fair.
Charge that to the game. And he has a restraining order on RFK Jr., but he wasn't arrested or he wasn't charged with anything, I believe. And he has since, I think, changed his last name to sort of avoid this. So I'll let him,
I
continue to
love
live his life. But
fervor. Do you know what I mean? Really believing in a cause. I'm just like, I'm not saying Sarah's like, oh God.
Sure.
Just like, I'm not saying that's the method, but you just gotta admire someone who's gonna send 400 emails and then go to somebody's house and then get removed and then go back again.
No, it's an incredible move.
Yeah. If he could have channeled that energy into his baseball career.
Exactly. Yeah.
And throwing a pitch straight.
No, and there's some similarities between my plight and RFK's plight. I mean, we're both on the end of an erratic movement from
Jonathan.
From Jonathan.
Wow.
Have I told my Jeb Bush anecdote on this
No.
podcast?
No.
This is like not the same thing, but my dad is a great supporter of Jeb Bush to this day, and he he heard from a friend of his that like Jeb Bush responds to every email that he gets. It's like
Cool. Like Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, like old school, like correspondence etiquette. So my dad started writing Jeb Bush emails, and Jeb Bush responded, and they kept up this correspondence for years, where my dad would try to convince Jeb Bush to run for president of the United States. And Jeb would be like, listen, I'm retired. Like, I started a donut store. I'm really focused on that. And my dad would like send him treaties about like why he can save this country.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a better fervor to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, there's no violence in that. It's like very supportive and encouraging, you know.
But to me, yeah, I think that's cool. Yes, okay, like, yeah, it's cooler I'm just saying, can you imagine being in a freaking grind so deep? I just like can't.
I think it's like psychosis for
Yeah, totally.
It is, but you know, there is something admirable about it. If I could lock in like that
Lock in.
on you know, on my various creative projects.
Yeah.
You just send like every podcast producer like 400 emails about why they should fund Nothing But Respect.
Yeah. Yeah,
Harry?
take Joe Rogan hostage.
Yeah. Totally like, yeah, the king of comedy
Exactly.
style.
Yeah.
Harry, I have to confess something. I listened to your podcast and I literally didn't understand one thing you were talking about.
Yeah. We get that a lot, actually.
Okay, from women.
Well, yes. I guess mostly from women, yeah. But from well, okay. Yeah, small sample size of people, but I have heard that exact anecdote of I supported your show and gave it a listen, and I couldn't even begin to understand what you were talking about. Mm-hmm. And all the people who have said that have been women.
Yeah.
And surely there are women who listen to the podcast.
You found your niche.
Exactly.
Basketball is not like a small niche. There's
right. We had to go within
millions
basketball.
of people follow.
But even I would say beyond that, so you even use language. It's like you were speaking a different language.
Totally. And it's funny, like, so I used to do this writing project called Good Hang with my friend Rhonda, mm-hmm. and we would our biggest arguments we would have, like creative arguments, were I would throw in like completely insane esoteric references, like designed not to be understood, mm-hmm. or to be understood by like a tiny group of people. And she was always like, I this doesn't make sense. I read this and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I would always be like, exactly. Like that's the feeling that I want, is to like sort of
bewilder.
Yeah, but then for the small percentage of people who like do understand whatever weird reference I'm talking about, like that's like a thrill or whatever. So.
And you wouldn't do like footnotes, David Foster Wallace style.
No, because he already did it, and because I like the Well, it used to be. I think you can be a DFW head again
without being embarrassing. You mean?
Yeah, there was definitely a period, I think, where you had to keep where I felt I had to keep the DFW love in the chambers.
Why?
Why did I feel that way?
Yeah.
I just feel like he kind of like got he was like he became a like meme, rightfully or not, for like solipsistic, egotistical, like white guy literature. Probably.
He's way smarter than most white guys, though.
It's fair enough.
White guys just don't get a fair shot these days.
I know. I'm looking for some for this project. They're really hard to find.
You're looking for white guys?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, with giant rotator cuffs.
Yeah, what project?
Well, I'm just not at liberty to say right now, but it's funny because we were having like a really hard time, and we were like, all the news is that there are so many of them out of work.
Uh-huh.
And you're trying to employ some white guys?
We're trying to employ some white men in their 30s or 40s.
They're all getting fired for saying they love a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again.
I was so angry when I finished Infinite Jest. Have you guys ever inadvertently thrown a novel away from you in disgust when you finish it?
No.
Has that ever happened to you?
I cried when I finished Harry Potter 7.
Classic.
As a child, but other than that, that's it.
I literally
Like I've felt like deep anger, but I've never thrown.
It's actually really better. I like have a really throwing policy for myself if it's soft things.
And for
like,
your kids.
Yeah, they can throw stuffed animals. So like I throw.
You're not throwing your kids.
No.
Oh my God, if only I were that strong. No, definitely not. I throw quarterlies, periodicals, soft cover books. Like there's nothing as satisfying not a throw like at the wall, more of like a toss. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was actually in an argument a couple weeks ago, and it was so annoying that I threw a couple different books, and I felt way better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I like to keep my throwing on the baseball field, on the softball field, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess to then also say, I grew up in a house with this. This does not have to turn into an after-school special, but I did grow up in a house with lots of throwing of kind of indiscriminate, hard and soft items. So maybe for me, it's all about progress.
I would like to get in a Marriage Story type fight where we're like breaking shit. It seems cathartic.
That I literally was like, why are they getting divorced? I don't see what the problem is.
They seem like they have great sexual chemistry.
Yeah, like I was just like, the best part of that movie. Him singing that song.
I like Bombeck, but I haven't seen that movie.
I
like
couldn't finish it.
It's not that great. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, it's certainly no scenes from a marriage. Do you know what I mean? You're not like, oh my God, haul it out. You're sort of like, what's the problem here? But there's a scene where he sings.
It's like you reading it as a rom-com.
Yeah.
Rom-com is a weird ending.
It just like doesn't, I want to be devastated. You know what I mean?
Have you seen Blue?
Is the warmest color?
No.
Oh, that
Blue
has the
Valentine?
Yes. That movie fucked my shit up.
Blue is the warmest color.
Just sad pussy eaters. Do you know what I mean?
That movie.
Blue is the warmest color or Blue Valentine?
Actually,
Because that's literally what blue is the warmest color.
Literally, the sex scenes. I remember I saw that in the theaters, and I was just like, I have never seen two people who seem. I mean, I know it was simulated, but who seem to be so exuberant about fucking each other ever in my life.
Well, they were both really unhappy with that. They both felt like they were abused. Did you see this movie, French Lesbians?
No, Blue's the warmest color. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Color.
Harry, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
But they both came out like feeling like they had been abused by the director.
Oh, jeez.
Great film.
Wait, in what context? Like psychologically, like Eyes Wide Shut?
Something like 14 days of pussy licking to like these prosthetic pussies. Like,
yeah, like going off, like him telling them to go off script and like have these really graphic sex scenes and making them do it over and over and over again. Yeah.
But wow.
I think it was an awakening for a lot of people.
For a lot
really?
of
people
yes.
For the lesbians.
For it was a sapphic awakening. I mean, I had already sapphically awoken before. Maybe it was like sapphic confirmation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You would like it.
Okay. Cool. Sapphic confirmation. Yeah.
How did we get on blue as the warmest color? We're supposed to be talking about sports today. You're supposed to be telling us about sports.
This is a critical
Lesbians.
sports show. Have you seen this lesbian sex scene?
Okay, here's what I've been thinking about sports.
Yeah, what questions do you guys have?
Yeah.
Girls are always asking me about pickup basketball.
Yeah, do you play pickup basketball?
I do, but they're always. I get the sense that women are very confused and sort of seduced, and repulsed, or just sort of like. I would just say confused and seduced by the fact that men kind of wordlessly arrange themselves in perfect games and like become friends with people and just strictly from playing basketball outside next to them.
That sounds great.
It makes a lot of sense because women are very verbal and they talk too much, and that's how we connect.
Yeah.
And that's why when you go to the strip club, right? Like the women are all the shocked. Was I talking about this? The women are like the Shakti energy moving, and all the men are just like really really still.
Wait, that's like the opposite.
The point is, I told you I was kind of loopy. Yeah, I mean, I get that you're moving your basketball, but like you know, my whatever, and I don't want to get somebody giving me shit about this, but like men communicate non-verbally and women communicate verbally, and they're just always like fucking yapping.
Right.
So you wake up in the morning and you're like, today I want to play pickup basketball. Like, walk us through how you manifest that.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. I play basketball every Tuesday. I'm in this basketball run that has been going on for like 5 years.
What's a run?
Great question. It's like one guy, this guy Max, purchases 2 hours of gym time in mass. So like every Tuesday he has rented this gym in Fort Greene, and then we all pay him. A group of 15 people pay him, and then every Tuesday from one time to another time we play 2 hours with all the same people. And then the only way you can get in is if somebody for that week sells their spot. And so like you basically kind of, it happens all the time. Like people have
Primarily white people?
It's a mixed race thing. I haven't thought about the racial breakdown of our basketball run. This is not a racial thing, but there's one of the best players in our run is, he moved away, but he was this rabbi. We used to play with this like extremely athletic rabbi.
Hot.
Yeah, totally. And he
like Orthodox?
No, not like modern, kind of like cool
okay.
sort of like acoustic guitar vibe
Not
rabbi.
Orthodox Jew, cool Jew.
Yeah, cool. Exactly. Yeah. So not to be confused with the freaks. This guy was cool. Is cool. But he was also just like, he was the best. I think he's in the 1% of athletic rabbis in the world.
Just based on your own experience playing with
My
him.
experience
In
with
Brooklyn,
him-
which would be like the primary location of athletic rabbis who play basketball.
Totally.
No one ever told you guys about the community of athletic rabbis in New Jersey.
I can't imagine. I mean, I get, the world is changing, right? Maybe there are more athletic rabbis these days, but I can't. All the rabbis I sort of interfaced with as a child were not good at basketball.
Yeah. Wait, I kind of want to know, what do you think Israel's stance is on basketball?
Well, there are two Israeli. No, there's at least one Israeli. There are two people who played for the Israeli national team who just got drafted into the NBA. They both got drafted to the same team. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, they heard
Conspiracy.
Zoran is primarying, and they're like, we got to send in the big athletic Israelis.
No, you think that's...
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, breaking news.
That is a good conspiracy, though.
Sports washing, Brooklyn.
There's some high level basketball going on in Israel. I
What's
believe.
their main sport that they're into? Do you know?
I honestly might be basketball.
Really?
They would be the best at. Yeah, that would be my guess, because Maccabi Tel Aviv is a good basketball team.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
There was this really bizarre case. There was this basketball player named Patrick Beverly, who was kind of like
It's kind of a silly name.
It is kind of a silly name. People call him Pat Bev.
Like a fancy boy kind of name.
Yeah. And he was kind of like not one of the better players on his team, but he started a podcast called the Pat Bev Show. And then this all happened maybe like 2 years ago. And then last season, nobody in the NBA signed him for reasons because he was just getting old or whatever. So he went to Israel. And so he was like, all of a sudden, like, imagine a basketball player podcast suddenly like being like, I like Tel Aviv, like it's a fun place or whatever. Like, it was just extremely bizarre culture collapsing where Pat Bev was being like,
Was he Jewish?
no, he just was there because that team paid him a lot of money.
Okay.
And that's not unique to Israel.
Like equivalent to the G League or something different?
It would be like it's another avenue. Like if you want
What?
to,
I'm sorry, what's the G League?
the minor leagues.
Okay.
Where I would be if I in a different world.
If you had
I'd
if
grown
in a
up
different
seven
world, not that different from this one.
Not too different from this one, I would be in the G League. Yeah.
Harry, I believe if you really, really tried, you could make it to the G League.
I thank you for saying that, and I do have some innate athletic talent, but it being my height, 5'8", is it's hard.
It's over. But Messi, 5'7",
Well,
you
soccer's
just picked the wrong sport.
I did pick the
maybe.
wrong sport. I did pick the wrong sport.
I mean, everybody thinks he's the greatest of all time, right?
But the soccer ball is close to the ground.
Way closer.
You don't need to get it high up.
Yeah, I'm just saying some people. He's the
I hadn't
greatest.
even thought about it like that.
My point is, like, he's the greatest of all time in the most popular sport in the world. So he's 5'7". So he's the greatest athlete ever of everywhere. It should just make people who are not tall feel good.
Yeah.
It's
empowering.
It's empowering.
Short kings.
Yep.
Yeah. I just couldn't bring myself to say that phrase. I was
Short kings.
actually teeing you up to say it for me. Thank you, sir.
I don't like as a tweener. I don't like engaging in the
Tweener? Tween?
Well, but that between a short king and just a regular king.
I'm sorry. Is this a common usage? A tweener, as in between?
I'm hearing what you're saying.
What's the cutoff for?
Wait, no. I'm still
Sorry.
stuck
Are
on the
people saying
language.
tweener? Yes.
So I could be like between being a valley girl and a public intellectual. You could say I'm a tweener.
Yeah, well, okay. I borrowed that term. This is a term that people use in sports all the time.
Okay.
Where if you're like, if you are 6'5" and you're between being a forward or a point guard, that you would say he's like a tweener forward or something. I might be the first to invoke it around 5'8" versus 5'9".
Okay.
So
You're 5'8".
yeah.
You feel there's a distinguishing line between 5'8" and 5'9"?
Well, no. I'm saying, my actual stance on sort of like the male height dynamic is if you're anywhere between 5'7" and like 5'9.5", it becomes more of like a vibes based thing. That if you sort of have a taller vibe, you will be not thought of as short.
Meaning what? You have confidence? What is a
I
taller
think
vibe?
confidence helps, but you don't want to be too kind of like a grounded confidence. Because if you're like so confident, it's like, all right, dude.
It's energetic because there's people that I think of as being taller than
People
me.
think I'm tall.
Yeah, you have a tall energy.
I'm not tall.
My husband actually has a short energy.
He does. I would never think he was 6 feet
He's
tall.
6
I'm
feet
so
tall,
sorry,
but-
Adam.
No, I mean he is 6 feet tall, but he has a shorter energy to him.
Right.
And it's not about in his case, it's not about confidence or anything. It's like negligible.
It's because he's Canadian.
Could be that.
Maybe. So you're a tweener, and do you feel like how do you feel like? So you feel like you have a tall energy.
I think that I don't identify as a short king
Because
I have I'm not.
Is it because of your basketball prowess?
I could be. I guess I have like a loud voice.
Yeah.
Maybe that helps.
You don't really. I mean, short king kind of sounds like super
So
lame.
it's just a really
the thing,
weird,
yeah.
but like calling anybody a king or a queen is just so cliche and stupid. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It is also sort of like mimetic. It's kind of engaging in this world where like the internet is real life, which is, albeit sort of true, it is inherently cringe.
Is
to
it
kind of,
though?
like,
Because you could just be living out of your truck and you don't even know about Katrina, right? For 3 weeks.
I mean, with Starlink, those days are over.
And I guess maybe, I actually think in that case, Katrina and the internet were real life and you were not in real life.
Yeah.
I think sadly.
Huh. Have you guys ever read Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion? You know
Yes.
what? I think you would enjoy the fiction of Joan Didion.
Is there any
Are you a
yonic-
reader?
Are there super yonic scenes? Or
No,
super-
it has nothing to do with anything. I'm just riffing, I guess. Do you like literature?
I read a little bit. I wish I read more. I read about 3 or 4 books a year. Well, I listen to them on audio book.
Oh, I have a lot of judgment around them.
And I just tasked you with reading that really intense anti-memetics book.
Well, that's a short book, and I really do want to eventually read that. But yeah, I am more of an audio guy. But I do like I'm actually sitting down and listening to it. I'm not doing like
just
like laundry. I'm staring at a wall, listening.
Well,
astral projecting.
To bring this back to sports, so I like really hate when people judge people for not being good at reading because I think it's really classist. And
are you talking about me?
No.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad I escaped that.
No, like I started a fight on the internet with someone about this. Because I'm like, I just feel like it's a really like annoying liberal thing to be like, oh, you don't know proper grammar when there's like a huge literacy crisis. But I was a little bit eyebrow raised when Travis Kelce came out, basically being like, he can't really read.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have any insight on that as the sports guy.
Well, what do I have to say? I certainly don't think if you are a public figure that talks all day, you should read. So Travis Kelce being a football player doesn't read, that's fine. But if he's going to have the like 3rd most famous podcast in the world, I would love him to read a little.
What does he talk about? Just sports or?
I think so. I mean, there's this whole type of podcast that is people want to feel like they're friends or in like a parasocial relationship with celebrities or whatever.
Yeah, you can feel free to do that with us, guys. Subscribe on our Patreon.
Specifically, bind that with money.
Yeah.
If you want to bind that.
Like a business arrangement, kind of like a marriage.
And I think there's some of that. I also think I think that it's no accident in my mind that like the rise of these like extremely famous driven podcasts, agnostic of what the fuck they're talking about, all became popular at once around the same time that YouTube and TikTok, the 2 basically most powerful recommendation content algorithms in the history of the world, took over podcasts. And people like Travis Kelce have names that score really highly on these recommendation algorithms. They're like, people are searching for them because they're searching for their football and they're searching for them dating Taylor Swift and all that stuff. So I think just a tremendous amount of attention gets sorted to these people because of the weightiness, like essentially the SEO score of their names. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of get into a pattern. Like we've all experienced weird content recommendation algorithm holes where you're like, why all of a sudden I'm watching like fucking 50 koalas eating carrots or whatever. Like, they're just these algorithms are so much more powerful than any of us kind of realize.
After listening to your podcast where you talked about slop, suddenly Instagram started showing me a bunch of videos that were clearly AI of like whales carrying cheetahs.
It's totally, yeah. And then it's just operating on this like part of your brain that isn't, there's a disconnect between what like your lizard brain wants and what you think you want, so I think that's why you get these ideas of, that's why you look at a Travis Kelce episode of a podcast that has 5 million views, but then nobody in your life has ever listened to 1 minute of it.
So true.
Like, how the fuck does that happen?
That's like the opposite of our podcast, because I've heard a lot of people listen
Literally,
to it.
everybody I talk to has listened to it.
But then when I post on TikTok, I got some mixed reviews.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm getting really positive reviews.
People are talking shit?
People were criticizing my voice.
Yeah.
People said I looked like I was 15. I should not give my opinion. But then when I responded to them, they kind
really
of changed
liked
their
you.
tune. Yeah.
Well, that's always how it is. People just want attention and like,
But they just
immediately
don't.
wilt.
They don't know who they're talking to.
One person
You're the atomic babe.
said that my comic sense was too sophisticated for TikTok.
That might be true. But my stupid dating things are doing pretty well on TikTok.
That's what people seem to be really interested in.
I know. You just gotta give the girls what they want.
This is a twice divorced woman.
I have so much information to share.
But yeah, people respond really well to that.
I heard a piece of advice around this topic that really resonated, which was that when somebody criticizes you online, the impulse is to run away, to kind of be like, oh no, I've blocked them or whatever. But what is actually a far more effective thing to do is to click in and look at their profile, because it will become immediately clear that they are insane.
Yeah, like poo eater.
Who told me that I looked really old?
It's like,
which also but I don't even care, because I know I look great. So you know what I mean? Like there's nowhere to land the barb. You know what I mean?
There is something really validating. It is without fail when people are like, and I've done it for other people where I've clicked in on their stuff. It's being like, saying some mean thing like, oh, not funny. And then their last tweet is like, I'm so sad I want to kill myself.
That's really tragic.
It is tragic, but it is helpful to be like.
Do you have a lot of haters?
No.
Okay.
And most of these things I'm talking about are looking at other people's. I am sycophantic in that way, where I'll look at other people's. I will not address my own haters, but I will look.
Nor should you.
I think that's really cool to have haters.
Yeah, I don't have too many. Or I have ops everywhere. I feel constantly.
What does that term mean? Because all these people keep saying it.
Comes to haters.
An op is a hater, like an operative, or an what is that word? What's it a shortened version?
I actually
of?
don't know. I think
operative.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe anyone hates you, Harry.
I know. How could they hate
That's
you?
so nice for you to say.
And you just use all that interesting, complicated language that I can't even understand. But you know what? It sounds really cool. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I wish I could. If I could understand this, then that would mean something better about me.
Oh, about my basketball podcast. Yeah, that stuff is pretty dumb though too. It is being
But everything's dumb.
Right. No,
everything's racing to the bottom. I'm not talking about you or your podcast. Here's what I was thinking about sports. Can I this is my big ticket thought. So I'm like, okay, sports, we're at the end of meritocracy. Nobody can afford to be a sports fan anymore because fucking streaming services cost them. I know this firsthand. I felt so good reading that article, how the woman who owns the sports bar in Minnesota can't figure out how to get the NFL games on. I always just thought, because Sarah can attest, I'm very disabled when it comes to technology, almost non-functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then getting the NFL game schedule, it's so complicated. Sunday ticket is an out of market. It's I spent $400 on YouTube TV subscription, and I thought that would get me all the games. Anyway.
So just really quickly, there was a New York Times article that was talking about the price of being a sports fan. And basically, if you want to see everything, you got to pay I think it was almost $5,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's indicative of decadence.
Yeah. Well, I get what you're saying on it is in part indicative of decadence. It's also in part maybe decadence on the behalf of these, platforms, basically. That's where it is in a way it's decadence, but it's also it's the end of an era of decadence in media where it used to be kind of sexy to
the Graydon Carter. I've been thinking a lot about Graydon Carter and being on magazines and Vogue.
All of that money is just drying up.
It's gone.
It's to some degree the same thing with these sports things where it used to be okay, NBC and Turner would compete with each other and one of them was going to get the rights. Now it's Apple has a fucking GDP of a mid-sized country, and Amazon can buy stuff and whatever. So, and that's competition for profit. But what I think is interesting about the piece is what's currently happening. It's not making stuff get cheaper. It's just getting stuff more expensive and like shit's more fucked up. It's like harder and harder to.
It's like, I think you use this term, which I would never say unless I was next to you, in shitification. I was just like, because like all I want,
that's a good word.
I know, but like it just doesn't sit right for me. But like, so it's like all I want to do is watch a football game. All I want to do is like get laid. But there's all these it's like also like these things that are for like ease of use actually make it so much harder to get the thing that I want.
Yeah, and we were talking about that with my brother because he has a flip phone, and he was saying like going to the Mets game is like a whole thing because you can only get the tickets on the app. So he was like having to call up the box office and like go there in person. But I was wondering from the article. So ESPN declined to renew the contract with the MLB, right? The $600 million a year contract. So like, where can I watch baseball games now?
It's a good question. Well, baseball is a unique. Well, let me provide a little bit of context, which is like all of these sports used to be on basic cable. Basically, you could watch them. You would watch your local network. Like if you were in New York, you'd be able to watch the Mets, the Yankees, whatever. Same thing with you would watch the Knicks, whatever. If you were in San Francisco, you'd be able to watch the Warriors. As the streaming wars have gone on, and as like, I don't know, I guess I don't even really like baseball's popularity has dropped off a lot. People used to be like, this is America's pastime, is what people would call baseball, and now it seems to have firmly dropped below football and basketball as
they're getting a little kick with the clock and all that stuff.
And there's some attempts to modernize the game, but what seems to have happened, which I actually think is exciting to me because it comes back to why I like sports, is baseball has embraced a more like regionalist approach where it instead of trying to appeal to the median ESPN watcher, and basically what that would mean is like only play Yankees games or only play games with the biggest stars or the most marketable stars or whatever. There's a push toward basically just being like, okay, let's own our regional market. Let's just be we're in Minnesota. Let's be good for the Twins. And so my answer is like, I don't actually know like literally where, but my guess is it'll be further down that line. Like you'll have to buy the Yes Network for New York, and you like won't be able to watch A's Dodgers. But it's like, who cares? Like you don't care about A's Dodgers. You only want to watch the Mets.
What I want to see is there's this one relief pitcher for the Mets. I think his name is Diaz. And when he comes in, Mr. and Mrs. Met do this like choreographed trumpet dance.
Yeah, it's sick.
And that's what I want to see. That's why I care about sports.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I was waiting for all game when I went to the Mets
And did
game.
you see it?
They did it. It was amazing.
That's nice.
Oh, that's so cool. Did you go with your family?
Yeah, I come from a Mets family. So it's very important. As a child, I wanted to be the first female catcher on the New York Mets.
That's beautiful. When did your dream end?
You know, I wasn't very talented. I was a weak child.
In
Like
general.
physically
weak, strong in spirit. So I was good at like squatting behind the plate and like taking, like letting the ball hit me. But my arm, if you couldn't see, my arm was too weak to throw.
She has those skinny arms
to
that they're always
second
talking
base.
about.
But we all went to the Little League World Championships. There was no barrier to entry, so any team could enter. So my team entered, and we got paired against Brewster. And Brewster had come in like second or third the previous year in the entire country. And so it was a big event, and it was covered by local media. And we lost like something. We got mercied, which is, yeah. But we like hit, I think, 2 runs. We got 2 runs in, so we were feeling good. But I think I was like 13 at the time, and the local paper wrote us up in the paper and put 2 photos in, and one of them was of me.
Of course, obviously.
In my catcher gear, like at home plate, mitt out, and my eyes were closed. The ball was behind my glove, and the girl was sliding into home base. And the caption was, "Catcher Koenig can't handle the throw." So I think it was about then that my dream died.
That's a beautiful story. There's also what a lovely sports caption.
Yeah, I really wish I could find. There was a time where like my
Microfiche.
mom was like so happy that I was like in the paper that she like framed it for my whole family. But I no one's been able to recover a copy. So
We'll find it.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll find it.
So that's when my dream died.
Got it. It's pretty young.
Pretty young.
Same age, 12, 13.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good age.
Yeah, it's good
You know
age.
what? I have a much more boring, and I'm not going to tell it. I also stopped playing soccer, which I had been played very, very seriously. My team won state championships. Anyway, and I got cut from this other team when I changed schools when I was 12, and then I never played soccer again.
Marin Academy, deadly soccer team.
Yeah, well, I had already given up by then because this was in New York. But so 12, that's when dreams die. It
Yeah.
seems
It's a good
kind of
time,
across
yeah.
the board.
You make it back as a podcaster.
So
Yeah.
is it important for you to date someone who cares about sports?
No.
Okay.
No.
Take note.
Well, so yeah, it is not. And actually, even like I kind of stumbled into sports media. I was producing this show hosted by these two comedians called Pod Don't Lie, and it was nominally a basketball podcast, but it was really just these two comedians.
Why are comedians always starting podcasts?
I mean, that has to do with
Attention.
They
Wanting
can't
attention.
cut it doing stand-up?
I don't think it's that. My sense actually is that most comedians feel incredibly trapped that they have to do one, especially at this point, because most of them are sort of like saturated, and the only thing that most comedians want to get out of their podcast are clips of their podcast that go viral on social media.
Yeah.
But people haven't quite figured out how to just do that part. So there's this, people are doing hour-long recordings to only have 3-minute clips come out because those do well, and that's a possible path to more.
This is like using ChatGPT to write an email using gallons of water and electricity when you could just write an email yourself in 2 minutes. This is your
As someone who's been close to a comedian in my life, I'm going to say it is no hardship. I was raised by a comedian. It is no hardship for comedians to talk for an hour,
Yeah.
I think it's actually necessary. It's yeah.
Okay.
Seeking attention, I think, is part of being a comedian.
Yes.
Never, I would, across the line rule, I would never date a comedian ever.
But you did marry a clown.
That's completely different. Clowning is very serious.
Yeah.
So
No, I know about that. Clowning is serious. They got clown school.
it's French,
Yeah.
Sarah. It's not just some American jerk off activity. It's an art.
Yeah.
And I would say that he stopped clowning shortly after we started dating. So I would not necessarily refer to
He
him
cleaned
as
up
a
his
clown.
act. He stopped clowning around and put a ring on it. Yeah. So I stumbled into it because of this podcast, and then I was really into podcasts. I was into the medium more than the
Message?
other, perhaps than the specific. Exactly. The little did I know they were the same thing. But yeah, so I do really like sports. I care about them, but I don't care about them just on their own terms. The only team I really care about is the Warriors. Everything else I'm sort of I like as a I'll turn on football because the ASMR experience of watching a football game makes me feel like a kid. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
It's not that I need to see who wins the game.
Interesting. So you're really married to basketball.
Yeah, but even that, I guess what I'm reacting to is there's, in basketball media too, there's this race to the maybe race to the bottom in the same sense of like who can be the most psychotically into basketball.
But I feel like what I've heard from my male friends, and this is not true of my like female sports fan friends, but the male ones, they don't even watch games anymore. They just check stats on ESPN.
Yeah.
Which to me, I'm like, that's insane.
Well, what is that about?
It's fucked up. I
It's
think
like fantasy stuff.
There's that. You can get really like on our show, Liz Franzek came on and was talking about this, about how so gambling is a completely co-opted sports and in like so many ways. The most obvious one is basically all major sports media entities have partnerships with major gambling firms, including ESPN. There's something called ESPN Bet, which is a casino, and they're completely embedded with each other. And it happened 7 years ago. Gambling was illegal. Now DraftKings sponsors the Super Bowl. It's like the fastest, takeover by a genre of
sin and decadence.
Yeah. Well, so there's a sort of moralist angle of like gambling is bad and fucked up, and you shouldn't be doing that. And I gamble in moderation. I think whatever that can be okay. But the point that Liz made, which I'll relay, is like the larger problem is the kind of spiritual hit where gambling is completely outcome based. It is not about like, it is not selecting for thrill or awe or glory or fun or beauty. It is selecting for like a set of desired outcomes happen or they don't happen, and then you gamble on that. And when you extrapolate from there about how the entire thing is being co-opted by a thing that only exists on a spreadsheet and on stats, then of course people are like, the behavior is going to follow where they're like, that is the only thing that matters is the outcome, which is again like whack and boring and not robs whatever beauty there is in sport of it. And it's like not why people actually like sports. Like people like sports because they want to see themselves in it, or they want to see greatness personified, or they want to like remember their dad. They don't like it because the Mets win or lost.
Totally. I mean, as a lifelong Mets fan, it's you stick by them regardless of
loyalty.
The stats. Yes.
Loyalty to a franchise. But that's like so what does that mean, man? Yeah. if even America doesn't have sports anymore, like, are we Rome? You know what I mean?
I mean, perhaps, yeah. I
Is it the bellwether?
I don't know. I know a lot of people like treat like much has been talked about the way where in the absence of religion, people have turned to politics as religion or whatever. That is a sentiment that like totally tracks for me intellectually, but it was not my experience because I didn't grow up religious, or like because I just, well, maybe I'm like playing myself here, but it doesn't seem true for me, but it does seem kind of like it intellectually checks out. I wonder if there's some of that sports stuff there too, where like people are treating politics like, or almost people are treating like the marketplace of ideas as a sports game, and not as not treating fucking sports as a sports game.
Whoa, bro.
So you're talking about like loyalty to your team, like
that
like kind of stuff.
Tribalism around a thought leader, like being like, I want Joe Rogan's ideas to dominate the marketplace.
Like intellectual gladiators.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm kind of into that.
You want to be? Yeah, I mean, you guys are an emerging team.
No, we're trying to present different opinions. We had a guest, or this episode hasn't come out yet, but we had a guest who said people get worried about the government, and I'm like, what government?
Mm-hmm.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Well, she's on a whole.
She's on her Hurricane Katrina shit. Did
she not know about it? You guys told her about it?
No.
At the thing?
She knew about Hurricane Katrina.
Fuck? Is everybody okay? Did George Bush handle it in a racially sensitive way? Like, no.
You know what's crazy about him, though, is that everybody loves him now, and they love his paintings.
Yeah.
This is something I don't understand. Like, the total turnaround of like the psychic energy that somebody who was once considered by many in the I don't know what this has to do with anything, man.
Well, I think I said this. I also said this on the last podcast, but my aunt had these Kamala Harris socks,
right.
and I was like helping her Marie Kondo, and I was like, you should get rid of these socks, you know, like she had her moment, it's past. And then my aunt was like, I'm not ready to. And then I was like, she's a war criminal. And my aunt was like, but she's my war criminal. Which kind of speaks to like the
tribalism.
Yeah.
But she's also just a bitch from San Francisco who, when she ran, my friend from the Bay Area, my high school sweetheart, my former high school sweetheart, reminded me that she only got like 0.3% of the vote when she ran in the primary from California.
Yeah.
Like,
no, people don't.
nobody
doesn't really claim her,
likes her.
Well, what's she gonna say? Like, remember when I had this crazy illicit relationship with Willie Brown?
Remember how I got into politics because I blew him? Like, I mean, that's like...
I don't blame someone for
No,
that.
I wouldn't, believe me. I
Willie
wouldn't
Brown
blame
has
her
crazy
either.
ways, too.
I just think my mom didn't like... I just was like hearing shit talked about Kamala and Willie Brown like my whole life, which I'm not gonna not chalk up to racism for sure. Right. The Polish are not known for... Let me counter some racist thing by saying another racist thing. The Polish are definitely not known for being racially sensitive. But why are we talking about... Oh, she's our war criminal. Yeah, except she's not the Bay Area's war criminal, which is the kind of the problem. But she's so hot. Do you know what I mean? It's just too bad.
Yeah. But
I can't speak on that.
You don't think that she's like... Take away like her voice and her personality.
And her face and her body.
No. Leave the face, but maybe style her differently.
Yeah, I think if you
have Sydney Sweeney stylist take a crack.
No, please.
Wait, I don't know about Sydney Sweeney's stylist.
I just am always going... Sydney Sweeney's stylist. What did I get in trouble for saying? Can I say it again?
Yeah, you said she should be...
shot.
You said she should actually be hung.
I meant it like metaphorically.
Of course, yeah.
I know.
Obviously.
I was just like, we can't put that on TikTok.
Yeah, she just has like Sydney Sweeney, who is so fucking hot.
Yeah, she's a big...
like literally like I remember the first time I saw a picture of her on Instagram where she was like in a bikini. Do you know this picture? And she had this thing like wrapped around her waist, and I was literally just like, I just got stuck.
Another
sapphic. Have I ever what?
Like when you just like see somebody so hot and you're just kind of like, I was just like, couldn't. I felt like a dude. Basically, it was one of the few times in my life where I was like, I'm a man. Anyway, that bitch is so hot. So then she has this stylist who she just looks like trashy garbage, and I feel like it's just because Sydney came from a blue collar background doesn't mean we dress her tastelessly.
I don't think she did.
It's not fair.
I think we need to fact check that. I'm not sure she did come from a blue collar background.
That girl is not giving middle or even like maybe lower middle class. She's definitely not giving upper middle class to me.
I remember this is getting into the level of info I have that's extremely ambient, but I didn't she get like a sponsorship with Ford or something?
Yeah, no, I mean she's always hustling for money in a way that's doing like SpawnCon like ruthlessly because she's just like there's no money. She's said things. I mean, maybe it's an elaborate con and that's pretty cool too. But she said things about how like all my other castmates, like they have money so they can just like do 8 episodes a year every 3 years on HBO and they're okay. But she's like, that's not enough money. So I need to do the stuff with Ford, the Kerstas, the Lanyege, like this endless parade of tacky promotion because she's trying to like make that money.
Yeah, which like respect.
Totally.
Nothing but respect.
Nothing but respect to Sydney Sweeney. Come on the pod anytime.
Yeah, we'd love to have you, girl.
She's also an incredible actress. I'm just saying it's not fair. I feel like her stylist thinks it's okay to dress her badly because she's not from money.
Well, it's hard to style a large chest.
Sarah would know.
I know from experience. I don't know if you relate to this, Harry.
I haven't sailed anybody with a large chest before.
You haven't? Okay.
No.
With a generous bosom?
I feel like we're not talking about sports.
What could be better? Tits and sports?
Yeah,
it feels pretty American to me, Sarah.
Exactly. We're bringing back the way people used to talk about sports.
Yeah,
How hot is the...
are the cheerleaders who
like-
we don't pay, obviously.
Like at all.
They did not pay them for many. It's only in the last decade, I think, they
Even
started
if
sometimes.
They're definitely not getting paid well.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a
It's like titty
exposure job,
charity.
Yeah.
And why do these girls do that?
Because they're so hot. What are you talking about?
Like, why would you would cheer for the love of it? Not
So that everybody wants you. What are you talking about? They're in those outfits. They get to be in front of a crowd.
I know,
They get
but
to cheer on those guys. It's the female version of the gladiator. This is what women have. We have like jumping.
but you don't get paid.
You don't get paid that. I don't think. I think you do get paid, but I don't know if it's like a hyper competitive salary.
But it probably raises your social capital. Like, who can you date if you're a cheerleader? Are you hooking up with the, like, I'm sure
Quarterback.
it's like you can just, it's a stepping stone to the life that you want if you weren't born into money.
But you definitely don't hear about cheerleaders as much as you used to. Like in the 90s, I feel
Oh
like people
my
were,
God.
you know, like I think there's a photo somewhere of me at like in like 5th grade with the Warriors girls, like Warriors cheerleaders. They were
Cool.
just around. Yeah, it's probably cool.
So the best moment.
A sapphic awakening.
No, I was always even at that age. I got that the idea of being like next to two beautiful adult women as a 12-year-old was like extremely anxiety.
Yeah.
I remember
Totally.
being like, "What do I'm fucking bricking this?
Yeah.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
Like, throw the peace sign up. Yeah.
Throwing the peace sign up.
You were too little to throw the peace sign up, right? That was pre-peace sign.
No, we were all
Throw
doing
the peace sign is you can throw a peace sign whenever.
Like, but you know how like the millennials really started doing it.
I
That's
wasn't doing,
later.
like-
Yeah, you
like-
weren't like.
I would definitely no. I wasn't derped up. I was pre-derp.
You could have been a cheerleader, Sarah.
Again, I'm so physically weak. I don't
do
have
think
the
you need to be
stamina.
real strong to be a cheerleader.
Well, now
For
they do
sure.
like flips and stuff, but in the old days they just looked cute.
Yeah. And I feel like in the 90s, how many scantily clad women were out there? Not that many compared to today.
Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, but
That's
compared to like the
interesting.
era of
Yeah, that's where you
OnlyFans.
got the naked. That's where you got to see a lot of. Yeah, that was
Right.
You're so right, Sarah.
Yeah. So
Now with these apps, you can get whatever you desire delivered digitally immediately. But is it really as good? Would it not have been better to sit at the game once a year and see them bounce
Drink 4
up
beers
and
and-
down? You know.
Pull out binoculars and look
Yeah,
at
I mean the thrill, friction is necessary.
yeah.
I believe.
Sure.
I don't think a frictionless life is a good thing. I just want to watch football. Do you know what I mean? Like I just.
Well, you have currently you expressed you have a lot of friction getting the game on.
Yeah, I have friction in my frictionless experience.
which is a bummer. Well, which is the kind of enshittification phase of all of this,
Yeah.
where everything's going to be like.
But is the internet like worth it, Harry? What do you think?
I think it was probably a net negative,
Yeah,
but we're too late.
it's too. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about the casino that Steve Cohen wants to build in Queens?
Oh,
Speaking of gambling and sports.
yeah. I don't about this specific one, but it's just another leg of this like continued, optimization of American vices. Like it's just gonna like keep expanding. Like there's such a big market for vices or whatever, and it used to be in this kind of like black market thing where if you wanted to gamble you had to go, which surely wasn't like great.
Like
Yeah.
Guys and Dolls. Have you seen that
No, I
movie?
haven't.
It's an amazing movie with Frank Sinatra.
Oh my God.
It's a musical and it's about the illegal gambling. They're
Underground
They're trying to find a place
Craps game.
for their craps game.
Yeah.
It's thrilling.
Okay,
great.
That does sound good.
It's
there's-
very uplifting too with all the songs.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a very quaint look at gambling.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. I mean, I feel like used to be a little bit less. Well, now it's not frowned upon at all, but like, I guess I get the sense from like movies, so I don't know how fucking true this is, but like, that you could just like your neighborhood bookie that you would
Yeah,
talk to.
what happened to all the bookies? They've all been put out of work.
Yeah, they're all. Why
That's
would
a
you?
respectable line of work.
Yeah.
You know?
It used to be.
Keep
I mean,
all those numbers in your head.
it does. Yeah, you got to keep. Yeah, exactly. But now all of that stuff is like run by computers, basically. And as far as like the Steve Cohen New York stuff, I mean,
Steve Cohen is the owner of the Mets.
Yes.
And he's like a bajillionaire.
Yes, and kind of like bought the Mets, were bad for a really long time and kind of like poorly, buffoonishly run. And then Steve Cohen bought them and is like applied. It's given like a shit ton of like VC money. And it's just like, he's like so rich. Actually, a friend of mine got laid off working at Steve Cohen's VC because the Mets were doing bad and he had to like divert funding from his VC into the Mets, and so he got laid off. Yeah, pretty funny.
He got in trouble, like light trouble, for like a ton of insider trading.
Yes, he's definitely a kind of like allegedly white collar criminal.
Aren't they all?
Right, it's like, what's the difference? Allegedly.
Aren't they all?
Well, apparently there's going to be a casino in Times Square, which I'm like, literally think of the worst thing you could do to Times Square to make it more horrible.
I can't even imagine, yeah. Except it would be kind of sick. This one's for the fellas. If you're in the casino and then your shit appears on the billboard.
Whoa.
And so, like, if you're gambling, everybody sees you win or lose. Could be cool.
Tell us more about like what.
I thought you meant like, because I had this friend who had like a modeling contract and he was like, his face was in Times Square. I thought you meant like somebody who was like playing slots, but then they also happen to be a model. So they can like pull the slot machine.
No, it's like, like Harry Krinsky won $1 billion at the casino.
I want to stay on what you're talking about.
So I had this friend who was a model, and I remember him being like, yeah, it's so funny to walk through Times Square because my face is like 4 stories tall in Times Square. So in my version of what you were saying, it's just that you happen to be playing the slot machine, but also you're a fashion model, so your face is...
It's a nothing but respect advertisement.
Got it, and it's me.
And it's you, but you're also winning.
I'm naked.
Yeah, it's like being John Malkovich, except like the best capitalist version.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
All winning.
Were you gonna ask about what's the appeal of gambling?
No, I was just gonna ask you to talk more about like what are men, because you were said this is for the fellas. Like, what do the fellas like
want?
What are they looking for? And like, tell me more. I want to hear more about the social dynamic of your pickup basketball game. If there was an initial shyness,
It sounds like cruising. It's kind of like gay cruising, right?
It is a little bit like gay cruising.
in a sexual way.
I wouldn't say it's sexual.
Just an unspoken knowledge, the eyes darting. Suddenly the pack comes together. They split apart seamlessly at the end when it's completed.
I think that actually is a good read on it. I wouldn't describe it as sexual.
I was just teasing.
Right. No, I know. Okay. Here's a take for the critical babe theory. I kind of feel like the loneliness epidemic, as it were, is overblown. I think there's a loneliness epidemic. Like people are talking too much about the loneliness epidemic, and like the fellas are okay. Like big
they're
picture,
okay?
I
Thank God.
I think the fellas are doing just fine. Like I'm wordlessly communicating with my 14 other bros and like feeling grounded and connected to the world, and then like going home and taking a shower.
That's beautiful.
And that's happening all over Manhattan.
Yeah.
Bro, and all the boroughs, I suspect. So I mean, yeah, I don't. If there is like, I think like guys and girls, if we are gonna do boy internet and girl internet or whatever, is like guys are equally good at making like peripheral friends. It's maybe the like close bestie people that I like would want to really like pour my heart out or like truly lower the veil and be myself around that. Girls are better at finding those people than guys. But like, you know, I got fucking 70 bros.
You got pals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have as many friends as Zuckerberg thinks you should have?
Dude.
You have more.
I might have more depending on what
15 more than 15 close friends?
Oh, no. I don't have more than 15 close
Because
friends.
he thinks that AI could really step in for you to help bridge that gap.
Mark
know.
Zuckerberg, like,
The
literally
famous person
doesn't
who
have
has so many friends.
one friend. Yeah.
It's crazy, that stuff. Yeah.
So where do you think that this narrative of the male loneliness epidemic is coming from? And I have an anecdote to share after.
I think, well, okay, I want to be like, I live in a city and like have there's certain like privileges that, you know, whatever, being in my socioeconomic bracket, which is podcaster level. It's not that high.
Just for anyone keeping track of the math. Our audience.
But is that I don't feel kind of like isolated by my life. You know, I feel like most of the people in my life do have the ability to like make friends and connect and whatever, such that there is loneliness as a part of life, but that there's not this like explicit gendered like loneliness thing happening where all my bros are lonely. I do think that God, I guess I don't know what I think, like where the narrative came from. I guess it's downstream of maybe like a compassionate bounce back from kind of like the patriarchy is bad, down with the patriarchy, being more like actually the patriarchy fails everybody, something like that.
it hurts them too.
Yeah, or like people really latching on to like incels, which are like obviously a very small minority.
Yes.
I've never personally met one, except I maybe did the other day.
Who said didn't like your voice?
No. That was just a person online. And when I
Oh.
told him that it was the voice God gave me and I couldn't help it, he was like, at least you have a pretty face. And I was like, thank you. No, I met someone out in the wild in New York who came up, I forget his name, but he came up to me in a community setting and he was like, I'm new here, I'm new to the city, and I am looking for friends.
Uh-huh.
He said he had an accent. He was Indian.
Okay.
He said, he said, I'm looking for friends. I have been quarantining for 22 years. And I said, what do you mean you've been quarantining for 22 years? I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 23. And I was like, where were you quarantining? He was like, Connecticut. And then I was like thinking, like, you know, those really horrible articles that have come out recently about people who have been like trapped by their parents in the house. So I said, were you trapped? He goes, no. I said, what were you doing? He was like, I was isolating. I was being alone. I was like, okay. And he was like, so I came here and I went to Times Square and I was sitting there with my coffee and I was trying to talk to people, but everyone was too busy and they wouldn't talk to me. So then I went down to the subway and everybody was even busier there. And then I went to Grand Central and I said, my man, you're going to the busiest places in New York City.
Transit hubs.
Yeah. I said, you got to go. I said, so then I profiled him. I said, do you play chess? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, go to the chess forum south of Washington Square Park. You can go there and play chess with people. And there's a board game cafe right across the street, you know? And he was like, okay. So he's like writing it down. And then he was like,
What the fuck?
This is why you're the all-American dream girl, Sarah. Who else would do this?
he was giving off a vibe where I was like, he could be on his path to being a school shooter. So I felt
So
like
is Sarah's responsibility.
First responder, yeah.
I was like, I need to show this man some human kindness. And then he was like, I said, are you safe? Like, are you okay? He was like, yeah. I was like, he's like, I'm getting a master's degree. I was like, where do you live? He was like, I live with my friend, but he's too busy for me. He doesn't have any time. And I said, how long have you been in the city? He said, 1 day. And then I was like, okay, well, like, why don't you go on Reddit and look up, like, how do people make friends in New York City? Like, you need to find, like, people who have the same interests as you. He was like, I went on Reddit. They told me go to the beach, but I went to the beach, and everyone was really busy there, too. I was like, how did you have time to go to Times Square, Grand Central, and the beach, and here all in one day? So then I was like, he was, so I was like, okay, I got to give this guy some advice. So I was like, listen, you're giving off a really intense vibe.
This is a beautiful story. I think. Like, this is a beautiful kind of human moment.
I actually was like, are you autistic? Because I was thinking I could, like, you could find a group for people who are, what's the term? Neurodivergent. You could. He said, no, I'm normal. I have no diseases. I was like, okay. Yeah. And then I was like, you're giving off this really intense vibe. Oh, and then I was somewhere and I went into the bathroom and it was a unisex bathroom. I think you know the place that I'm thinking that has a crazy energy. But
oh God, I won't even go there.
So I like go to the bathroom. I'm like washing my hands and he comes up to me and I go, hey, do you need to go to the bathroom? He's like, no. Could you put me in touch with your friends? And I was like, dude, this was the intense vibe I was talking about. And like in New York City, you just got to tone it down a notch, And then I was like, almost like, should I take this man's number and kind of like help him adjust to the city? Because I was like, I feel like he is very close to buying a gun. Mm-hmm. But then I was just like, I couldn't do it, I couldn't get a mesh with this person. So he went on his way, but I'm haunted by him. And I'm like, why was he quarantining for 22 years? What's his story?
He sounds like he's a compulsive liar, Sarah. How could you go to all those places in one day?
He looked like a person who could have been quarantining for 22 years.
Can I throw a sort of sinister theory your way?
Yeah.
I'm keeping tabs loosely on the broader kind of manosphere pickup artist universe. Mm-hmm. I'm sort of like clocking in, seeing what those bros are up to. And one of the things that I have seen, this is where the term like negging comes from, and like in at least co-opted by digital circles, is like there's this whole idea that if you just go up to people that you want to talk to, I guess mostly women, and like just like say kind of like salacious conversation continuing shit, that's like a possible path to be continuing a conversation with them. And you're just supposed to be like, hey, like you're sweaty, like where are you from?
You have some lint on your shoulder.
Exactly, like weird shit like that's supposed to kind of like.
I think you're misrepresenting negging, because I find it to be a pretty effective technique.
You don't think what did I say? You look sweaty? You look sweaty.
I think it's just like, I mean, I do it to people all the time. It really, it's most pleasurable when someone's really confident, and then you just sort of like little part by little part, just take just like little insults, little ways that the thoughts don't connect, or like little hypocrisies. And then they sort of are spinning and they don't know where they're at. And then they look to you perhaps for assurance.
You do this to men.
Yeah. It's not very pleasurable to do with women because it just feels like manipulative.
Yeah, I have heard of this. Like I've heard people talk about these types of things. Like maybe I should try it.
I think that's like an advanced negging. Like the original concept came from this book, I think called The Game, right?
Yeah.
And it was literally like carry around a black light and then like put it on, like shine it on someone to like expose their stains, or like put a piece of lint on a girl's shoulder.
You, yeah.
No, that's no game.
Neil Strauss.
That's no game.
It was lowbrow negging.
Yeah. Lowbrow. You're doing highbrow tasteful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like your reading of Hegel is juvenile.
That's it exactly.
Fuck. I love you.
I can't believe you talked to that guy for that long, Sarah. That's deranged.
I feel like that's just part and parcel of living in New York,
I've never had a conversation with somebody like that before.
It happens to me all the time.
I know.
I'm worried. I get worried, I was worried.
It's your martyr complex. You're a saint. Yeah. Still little Sarah hasn't let go of being a saint.
Yeah, that is like my equivalent of being a pitcher, I would say.
I could have been a contender.
You could have stopped all mass shootings by talking to the guy.
You could have been she literally could have been canonized as a saint.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too late. But, yeah, maybe he was picking me up. It was one of the strangest social encounters I've ever experienced. So who knows?
I guess.
Yeah, I'll never forget him. I went home and Googled quarantine for 22 years to see if he was in the news.
I had a thought about this. It occurred to me recently that before I die / leave New York, I would like to ask for a girl on the train for her phone number.
It's a great idea.
A guy did that to me recently, and after I talked to him for a long time and co-wrote a poem with him. I thought he was a performance artist.
Didn't you try to set me up with him? No, you tried to set somebody else up with him.
And you know what? I did not. I said, I'm married, but I will take your number and I will pass it on to someone that I think you would be a good match with.
But then he called her. Sorry.
He was over effusive and
Get
she did
him
not.
on the pod, yeah.
Oh.
I don't have his phone number.
Okay.
But anyway, I think that I have all my girlfriends are wanting to be asked out in the wild, you know.
Please. Approach.
I agree ultimately.
Rejection's painful, but as somebody who's been rejected thousands of times in my career.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, you just get over it and it literally becomes meaningless. It's just about shots, to get back to sports. It's about shots on goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of life is just about shots on goal.
Have you never asked a girl out just like on the street?
No, not like a complete stranger or anything.
You ever heard of this really dumb, I don't know if this is an internet thing or something I just heard about, like where the goal is every day you have to do something that gets somebody to say no to you. So like a great example is like you're in a restaurant and you pass by someone's table and you're like, could I have an onion ring? And you're like trying to get a no, but what you'll find is that you get a lot more yeses than you think. Maybe you need to go for the no.
That's intriguing. I have been trying to kind of spice up my life a little bit in more day-to-day kind of magic. So maybe I don't know.
What's the fear?
Death.
Ultimately, but above that.
Yeah, I guess it's like, I guess it is just literally rejection. Well, I used to feel like it was like imposing some kind of like, you know, making them uncomfortable or like.
Oh, every life is uncomfortable. Who fucking cares? You know?
And I do have more confidence, at least in I have now been like tastefully or politely rejected enough times in my life to be like, okay, you can actually like, you can like interrupt somebody's song and ask them something. And it's not the end of the world. It might not have been exactly what they wanted, but it's not gonna.
Their song.
It's not violent.
Like if they're street
like,
musicians.
No, sorry. I just meant like they're on the phone. I took a few jumps in my head. Like you can impose some like small amount of discomfort.
It's a as we always say, as my friend Valentine says, it's a psychic jungle out there. This ordinary controlled world where you have your AirPods in and therefore the world is safe is a fucking illusion. Under the surface, everything is wild. You know what I mean?
But there is this narrative that like, oh, a woman can't leave her house without being molested by male attention. But it's something that I
love male attention.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I got called beautiful on my way here by a total stranger. And I said, thank you so much. You know?
I love getting called. Yeah. It's the like death rape stare that's not ideal.
Yeah, if it's like a scary, aggressive
that
thing.
doesn't happen that often.
To get real in the weeds about it, you know, where I think I'm a decently discerning fellow about like social interactions, but I can never tell if somebody is making regular eye contact or flirtatious eye contact with me.
I would just assume it's
just
flirtatious.
assume it's flirtatious.
Yeah, and take the risk. You know, actually, this was something that Sarah Apple talked about, was that she actually...
There's a way to summon people to you, which is that you just...
What?
If you hold eye contact with someone for 3 seconds. Yeah.
Well, there's another version, which... Okay, so here's the first version. Okay, so look at me. Here's the first version. Okay, now look at me again. And then if I just never broke eye contact until you broke it, then you would, Sarah's theory, which is also other people on TikTok, is that you or whoever you do that to will then actually literally approach you as if summoned and be like, what's up?
I'm going to do that. I should do that as an experiment.
Should we do it tonight?
Yeah.
I need a salad.
I'll try, yeah. I'll try it, yeah. I'll try it.
That's...
Because I'm just like sick of these bitches complaining.
All the bitches are complaining about men.
No good men when Harry Krinsky
is right here, ladies.
Thank you. Yeah. If you're on the subway near me, maintain eye contact with me.
At least 3
So
seconds.
he's really clear.
Exactly.
So the men are all right, except for this one wild card that I met recently.
Who's
'Cause
been
he
in
wasn't playing enough
quarantine.
sports.
Totally. He couldn't have been a contender.
You're quarantined.
Do you
Oh,
feel
shit. Also, I need to go.
you need to go?
We're going.
Okay. Would you raise your child to be a professional basketball player? Are you gonna like be like a sports dad that like yells at them to lift their elbow at the bat and stuff?
I will try to get my kids to be into sports for sure. I got so much out of sports, but I feel like it's about moderation. Like there's I do feel really bad for these kids who have been like professionalized at a really young age because like, I mean, this sounds so trite, but it's like you have your whole fucking life to have a job. Like you're gonna have a job from when you're 20 or whatever, 18. Whenever you have your first job, you're gonna have your job forever.
The sanctity of childhood. Let's
Yeah,
protect
just
the
like-
sanctity of childhood.
Yeah.
Like so just to maintain a bit of you know, like joy or sense of play or whatever. I mean, how many fucking hours of therapy have been spent like trying to refine your sense of play or inner child or whatever?
I think that's all kind of a
And
Yeah, grow up already.
we put away childish things, you know,
Fair enough.
as the Bible says.
okay, that's fair enough.
But you weren't expecting that.
No, I wasn't. And well, to be fair, most people who are really good at sports do love the Bible, for real.
That's what we have in common.
Which I mean, if I was 6'8" and could jump 42 inches and was in the NBA making $600 million, I would be like, there is a God and he's watching over me.
And God is
Totally.
primarily God is good.
Hey, God is a
Harry.
good. He's a
God
wonderful
is
God.
good.
Yes, he's everywhere.
I say that to myself all the time. Well,
Thanks so
that
much,
felt
Harry.
really desultory, which means we went in a lot of different directions
Okay, yeah.
in a deeply satisfying way.
I think we all learned a little something about sports today. So thank you, Harry. And we'll put a link to your podcast in the show notes. And class dismissed.
Bye.
Bye.